What if I told you one of the most misunderstood animals on Earth might also be one of the smartest and strangest? Hyenas are often seen as cowardly scavengers, laughing villains, background noise in the wild. But almost everything you think you know about them is wrong, because hyenas aren't just survivors. They're intelligent, powerful, and biologically bizarre in ways that sound almost unreal. Let's start with their brains. Spotted hyenas are far smarter than most people realize. In fact, their intelligence has been compared to some primates. They can solve problems, work together, and understand complex social hierarchies within their groups. They remember relationships, alliances, and rivalries. In a way, their social world isn't that different from ours. But here's where things get even more interesting. In hyena society, females rule completely. They are larger, stronger, and more aggressive than males. Even the lowest-ranking female outranks the highest-ranking male. It's a strict matriarchy. Power, status, and access to food, all controlled by females. And that power goes beyond behavior. It's built into their biology. Female spotted hyenas have one of the most unusual traits in the animal kingdom. They possess what's called a pseudo-penis, an enlarged clitoris that looks almost identical to a male's organ. They use it for urination, mating, and even giving birth. That creates a serious problem, because giving birth through this structure is extremely difficult and dangerous. For first-time mothers, the risk is incredibly high. It's one of the most extreme examples of how nature can shape anatomy in unexpected ways. Now let's talk about that famous sound, the laugh. You've probably heard it, high-pitched, almost human-like. But here's the truth. Hyenas aren't laughing because something is funny. That sound is actually a signal. It often means stress, excitement, or social tension. You'll hear it during feeding frenzies, when competition is intense and emotions are high. So what sounds like laughter is really a warning or a cry of chaos. Speaking of feeding, hyenas are built to consume almost everything. Their jaws are incredibly powerful, strong enough to crush bones, horns, even hooves. And they don't just break them, they digest them. Their stomachs are so efficient that almost nothing goes to waste. In fact, their droppings often turn white because of all the calcium from the bones they've eaten. It's nature's ultimate recycling system. But here's another myth. Hyenas are not just scavengers. Yes, they do scavenge, but they're also highly skilled hunters. They can chase prey over long distances using endurance rather than speed. And they're incredibly successful at it. In some regions, they hunt more than they scavenge. They're strategic, coordinated, and persistent, more like wolves than the lazy scavengers people imagine. And yet they're not wolves either. In fact, hyenas aren't even closely related to dogs. They belong to their own unique family, called Hyenidae. They're actually closer to cats than to canines. So despite their dog-like appearance, there's something entirely different. Now let's go back to the beginning of life. Hyena cubs don't start out helpless. They're born with their eyes open. They already have teeth, and almost immediately, they start fighting. Yes, fighting. Even siblings will compete aggressively from the very start, especially when it comes to dominance and access to food. It's a harsh introduction to life, but in a world where hierarchy determines survival, it makes sense. So what do we have? An animal that is intelligent like a primate, organized like a strict hierarchy, equipped with one of the strangest anatomies in nature, capable of crushing bones and raising young that are ready to fight from day one. Hyenas aren't just weird. They're one of the most complex and misunderstood animals on the planet. So the next time you hear that eerie laugh echoing across the savannah, remember, you're not hearing a joke. You're hearing one of nature's most advanced survivors, speaking its own language